All right, I'm going to just quickly take over from here because I've had the privilege of meeting this family just over a year ago. I think it's I think last year, March, for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a family. The father is Pierre, the mother is Runel. And they found us. Pierre was at a stage in his life where he was searching for, probably on the topic of generational inheritance or wealth, and he came across gig, and he then went on the site and he went through the courses himself, and he signed himself up. And the first time I met him and his kids was when they attended our quarterly rally that was held here in Four Ways in March sometime last year. And then they're probably right now, next to Sarah, one of our most active families in working this concept, and also actively involve their kids. So Uriel and Zane and Elizabeth, thank you all for participating, but I'm going to start with the youngster. And what I want to know from you is, from your perspective, how did you get to know about GIG and what it means for you? And now that you've been involved in it, is it anything different in your household? And how do you see it playing out in your life going forward? So Uriel, so as long as you guys can sit closer to the mic so we can hear you, but over to you.
Hi, everyone.
Can you be a bit louder, Uriel?
Pardon?
Be a bit louder if you can.
Okay. As you can all see the details there of how old I am, what I'm doing and stuff. I'm not going to go into detail, but to answer your question, Jasper, for me, since I was introduced, I actually got introduced to the gig through my father. He introduced us to it, and then Jasper actually showed us the whole concept of it and stuff like that. And from that day, it actually helped me understand certain things that I need to put in place to be able to go forward with with a good wealth, looking into the future, having kids and all that stuff. For me, the GIG Institute helps a lot of young people understand how to manage their money, and it changes the way they think of certain, I'll say, expenses, or how can I put it? Certain, they won't, it helps people place, young students that don't have much, place their money in the right vehicle to be able to increase what they have. What I like about the GIG Institute, it doesn't require so much money to start off. So as a student, I can put the little bit I have into the GIG Institute, and then through that I can multiply through the counseling that the GIG Institute provides, and this assistance in putting it in the right investments and all that stuff that comes within the whole package of the GIG Institute. So yeah, for me, it's a thing of, it will help the young generation to start getting into the mindset of not just dealing with what they have, but using what they have in their hands as a seed to prosper what they will be able to get in the future. So yeah, that's...
Thanks, Uriel.
Pleasure.
They're all sitting there on the bench next to each other, and I'm in two minds to switch screens, but I'd like to actually stay on the screen. And the next one I want to bring closer to the mic is the middle brother, Zane Grobbelaar. And over to you. You know what we want to talk about. How did you got exposed to GIG? And I know you've also been to some of the community chamber sessions. And so from not knowing anything about gig and knowing about gig now, how do you see the future playing out for you?
Sorry, could you just repeat the first bit, if you don't mind?
Yeah, basically just how did you got introduced to gig? And I know basically through your father, but what was the impact of the message for you? And in your experience this last year or so, and how do you see the future?
For me, I got introduced to gig through my dad, and the first time we attended the meeting, it really stood out for me because business has been a passion of mine for a very, very long time. Although I haven't been on the earth for a very long time just yet, but it has been a very big passion, and the core foundation and the fundamental skills that the gig teaches and builds throughout the entire, if you do follow the courses, it really sets a person up not only momentarily but also for a very, very long time into the future, and that's really what stood out for me. And then since the first meeting, as everyone can see on the left-hand side of the screen, I've been able to scale my company to a point where I can start looking into the future and start building it for a lot more younger generations for the future and stuff like that. So yeah, it helped a lot with that. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Zane. And then I first had, so we had two beautiful girls, and then I had these two thorns in the middle, and now we have another rose to end it up off for us, and that's the sister there. So Elizabeth, over to you, and your exposure to gig and how it has impacted your life for the last year or so, and how you see the future.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for putting this time aside to tune in with us. For me, gig is, I was introduced firstly by my father, as we all were. And gig has just opened up a world of wisdom for me when it comes to how we perceive finance and what we understand of it. And I think out in the world, especially for young people in our social structures, there's a lot of influence, there's a lot of media, there's a lot of data that is downloaded to us as to how to go about your finances, ways to invest, what's good investment and what's bad investment. But there's never really been a definitive way of knowing exactly what will prosper my future and what won't prosper my future and momentarily please a desire or want. And as we know, wants are endless, and it changes as we grow, it changes as our pursuit in life grows and our vision in life grows. So once we reach one level, we've got the next level to consider. So what I enjoyed about gig is that it's relatively holistic when it comes to investing your finance or growing your finance in a place where when your goals and visions change, or if you have a new goal or vision, you can reach into a well of resource and begin growing or planting or building that goal or vision that you have. So basically for me, the overall experience that I've had with gig is that it's allowed me to open up my perception to seeing how the quality of the knowledge that I have about finances will sustain the foundation that I build when it comes to my financial growth as a person. I related to one of our speakers this evening when she was saying she's young, still single, still building, not really thinking yet about having kids, grandchildren, retiring. And I think for a lot of us, we can come to a place where we can relate to the fact that at this point in our lives, we're looking at right now, what do I desire? What do I enjoy? I'm young, I want to have fun. But on the other hand, there's a pressure of responsibility from the social circles that are around us. And this, I feel, has allowed me to come to a place where I choose to make decisions that influence those who walk a journey with me. And I can actually build for a journey. So as I go forward from year to year financially, and as I grow financially in my careers, there is a place where I find security in knowing that the wisdom I'm gaining now will benefit the decision I make tomorrow. And so the Gig Institute has really been a great impact for me in that regard. It's really opened my vision financially to think beyond where I am today and to see a future for myself, even though sometimes in your career or the job you're sitting in at the moment may not necessarily hold financial promise as yet, or it may not actualize as yet. There is a place where you can take what you have, you can invest it, and you can build it. So I would say overall, that's the inspiration I have at this point in time from the Gig Institute.
Well, thank you very much to the Grobbelaar family there. And I think the dynamic that the three of you bring, and I would like to see how that plays off or out. But at least are these brothers and sisters who are almost at the same stage in their journey and having the gig perspective. I think it will have quite an impact on your individual journeys, but also cross-line, that it would be much easier for you then to pool resources and to continue building the Grobbelaar dynasty, although you also do it then for yourself.